Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura, and we are going to get started on a new mini today. It is a harefolk monk. A friend of mine designed it on Hero Forge, and then a different friend of mine printed it off, 3D printed it for us. I think he's still kind of figuring out settings as far as how to get the best details and such. But that's not a big deal. Worst case scenario, if there's anything that seems just really bad, I can come in with some green stuff or and try to kind of resculpt it a little bit. It doesn't seem like it'll be that, like there's anything that bad on this one. The worst thing I think is the face. Just gonna be a little bit hard to see right now since nothing's painted. There we go. Now oops, sorry, that just hit the mic. So there you can kind of see, especially as I move it around. Oh, that's a little bit weird. I think that it's supposed to be like, I think the mouth is supposed to be closed. But on here, if you see those like texture and stuff, that's I think that's actually the filament. Anyway, I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna paint it a little differently, or start out a little differently than I normally would. So I'm just getting out base colors and whatnot. Sorry, I've got a cat who is trying to do something stupid. So I'm trying to keep her from doing something stupid. So these are kind of a lot of the base colors that I'll use, or I'm going to use. I may get some other colors in to add highlights or shadows. This is going to be the fur color. It's not showing up very well. Let's see, I think I need something black. Let's see if this will help. There we go. Now it's kind of a little bit better. So this will be kind of basically the base fur color, going for gray. I'm probably gonna bring it up even lighter. I'm planning to use some wolf gray in there with that, and also some probably dragon black for a shadow. So that's one that's definitely going to be have both highlights and shadows added. Pine green is this one. I'm thinking that right now I'm thinking of using it for the shirt, and that one will probably get some highlights on it. I don't think I'd. It's kind of hard to go much darker than this. It's pretty dark already. Creamy ivory is the next one. And that is probably going to be for like there's some rope on here and then like an undershirt. You can kind of see strings, so I might use it on the loot strings as well. And then here we've got burnt orange. Thinking to use that on a lot of the leathers. Here. Let's see where else. Oh yeah, then the backpack has a bunch of leather as well. And then this last color, purple, is monarch purple. I'm thinking of using that for the pants. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to basically start off with base almost so base coating almost the whole mini and getting the colors blocked in. I is one way of describing it. And like for the belt, there's also a belt along with the rope that's on here. And then the loot itself, I think I'll probably do like a black of sorts, just to have something that's really, really dark. The pine green is probably going to get brought up, not a lot, but a decent amount. So it's probably not going to stay looking really dark. And the same with the gray. I already am planning to lean more towards a light gray, which is why I'm starting off more with this kind of dark gray color instead of a black color. And this will kind of help me. This is kind of what I'm thinking I would do if someone were to commission something for me and do like the basic level, because I have a basic and then an advanced. Basic being like you get a base coat, some lining, and like one highlight, and then no basing. This wouldn't be perfect. Hey there, Tinker. Yeah, it should be a fun mini. But yeah, I'm gonna try and paint this how I would think that I would go about painting just like a basic level of paint job if someone were to commission. Well, maybe I was right the first time testing out different backgrounds. See if the black. Oops. Hopefully the filament that was used to print this isn't caused too much of a texture problem or anything. may end up double checking with my friend on if on just how the mouth was supposed to be, since that's kind of where it got a little wonky in the printing. It was made on Hero Forge, so she could always just send me a picture of the Hero Forge file. Okay, see what else we got here. The hands also were kind of another place that got a little wonky. But I also have played around enough with like a Hero Forge and kind of guess what she used. Is not wanting to stay focused. So I think these are some hand wraps. So like half wrapped. Oops. How are y'all doing today? It's been a bit of a day for me. I have mild um, ADHD slash autism. So some days are good and some days can be challenging. Just getting overstimulated. Yeah. So you probably can understand some. Obviously, it's still different with each person, but yeah. You probably know a little bit of what I mean. Doesn't help that I wasn't diagnosed until last year. But that's the nice thing about painting, is it can be very relaxing and calming. I didn't know that. Global Accessibility Awareness Day. That is a mouthful. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It helps. Painting can help really, really focus. And slow down all the stimulation input. Yeah, I've got some meds that I take for ADHD. It helps with like attention and being able to think a little more clearly. Have a bit more control and what I'm focusing on instead of just focusing on a bunch of random different things for random amounts of time. Doesn't help with like if there's any behavioral like bad coping mechanisms or anything that that I picked up from trying to just deal with it on my own without knowing it. That's kind of where therapy is kind of important, especially with for someone like me who didn't get diagnosed early on. So then there's various stuff to kind of work through that's not necessarily ADHD wise, but more of just life, not experiencing life without even knowing you had ADHD. Let's see here. Trying to figure out where the shirt stops. It does seem like we have a belt here. That seems about right. Yeah, for sure. And even just being able to know can be helpful to kind of help explain uh, different things you experience, different things you were struggling with, maybe that other people weren't. I know that was a big thing for me with the ADHD. Is just like, so that's why I struggled so much, like in school and stuff. Because I knew I was trying really hard, and sometimes it just was never trying hard enough, was not cutting it. Granted, I still ended up being like an AB student in high school. Alrighty, see ya. Glad you could stop by for a bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit of green back here because I'm not sure. It's harder to tell back there where the collar is, which color is which, because there is like an undershirt. So we'll just put a little green back here. I'll probably end up lining in between the fur and that, and then we'll call it a shadow of the undershirt, you know, which makes sense. If you think about how shirts bunch up, you usually have it like in the back. If you have more than one shirt on, there's less of the undershirt showing. So I think that'll make sense. So we'll just line in the back to in between the green and the fur. Let's see. Go back and do some more layers on the fur to get that better coverage, especially while the green dries. This is kind of the nice thing of having all of the different like main colors out, is I can just kind of bounce around the mini while other parts dry. I think even more so now that I've painted this, that I'm just even more certain the mouth is meant to be closed. There's a teeny tiny bit of like filament hanging out here though. So I might try to carefully cut that off and hope not. The problem is it might end up just bringing more filament out though. So I'll probably wait till after stream later on tonight when I can kind of have a lot more, just put all my focus on that. Cat has been getting up on the desk. Got cat hair. This is surprisingly transparent. I wonder if this green doesn't have very much other pigments in it. From the little that I know of paint chemistry. Looks nice though. It's a nice green color. The main request from my friend on the paint job is gray fur and green eyes. So that's gonna and also just being a monk. I don't know. I like having like a very dark top in a way. That or really light. So this brings green somewhere else. I mean, obviously down here is sculpted grass and stuff, so that'll be green too. And then we've got orange and purple. So we basically have a triad for on this guy. Let's see. Get started on the leather while that's drying. Be really light leather. Which I think will be, I think it'll work out well. Here, I'm gonna do probably a black belt. Gonna have it here as well. And if I put a highlight on this, like it'll be even lighter than the gray fur too. So there'll still be some contrast. It's also a different color though too. So I think we will be fine there. I do have to be careful a little bit with this hand. It's like definitely a weak point in the print. you can feel it kind of wobble a little bit. Hopefully it holds together. Let's see. I feel like there was something else that was leather. Right, backpack. And the loot, I'll probably do black as well. So that'll be really contrasting. Question is about the bedroll here, which I could do purple. Since that would be, I mean, one would be a different place to put the purple other than just the pants. Sorry, I'm going to paint on a leather strap of some sort because something that Hero Forge kind of lets you down on is there's no like, they don't add any straps or anything to make it realistic as far as things that you put on your back or your side. The side items are usually pretty fine. They usually line up really well with the belt, and so then, you know, imagination works in that sense. Of like, oh well, the loops could be on the back of this, but something like this, like that doesn't work so much. So I'll try and like, I'll probably thin this out so it's not quite so thick of a strap there, but that makes it a little bit more believable. You just have it in connection straps that are already on the backpack. And I promise he will, well, she, I guess this is for a female character. She will look less like Green Bay Packers when we are done. If it still looks like Green Bay Packers when we are done, then I will probably be painting over it. Because she's a Bears fan. I am tempted to bring in a darker orange. This is why I don't usually paint this way, because like I want to be able to see the finish, an area finish, and so there's paint on everything, or there will be on paint on just about everything. It just still looks very unfinished because I know like these will work, these colors will work together, but they need shadows and highlights and I'm just putting more of the orange into the well because I feel like part of me wonders if maybe I didn't get the paint shaken well enough. It is kind of more of a yellowish orange, I guess. Now that I have a purple next to it, I can see that it is a bit more yellowish. Which is why it's looking a bit more on the Packers colors. Might get a different orange then. So I need an orange, not yellow orange. See, I'm gonna see how this looks with getting a more solid coat established. You can see also the backpack just magically hangs on the back. No straps. It's just the difference you get between like someone sitting down and doing a really good job designing something and having a computer help you design something where you're kind of basically just throwing 3D images onto the sculpt. So, those are the limitations of things like Hero Forge. those are really small things to kind of nitpick on Hero Forge and other. I mean, it's not just Hero Forge. Any of those websites that do the custom allow you to make custom minis. Yeah, I think I am gonna pick a different orange. Let me get another coat down on the purple because it looks like it. I think it's all dry. I think the green and the purple are about right. But something is telling me that the orange is not quite right. It just does not look quite right with the other two colors. Okay. Just notice there's a little bit of something there. Just stuff some purple in that area for now. And so this is probably the reason that it just isn't reading quite right, is especially my camera is kind of helping me see it even more so, in that there's probably a lot more yellow in this color, in this orange, than I realized. Some of it is just, I think, the camera, and having those other colors, I think, is causing it to also pull the yellow out more. The purple being probably one of the main reasons, because purple is complementary to yellow, so they'll bring each other out more. Yellow and purple will cause the other to appear even more. So I'm gonna, let's see. I'll pull out the other two colors that I had considered. Let's see. We can see. So we got orange ground was one, and then this was the other one, which is very much more orange. Very. We're trying to go more for leather. I'm kind of guessing. Ooh, that's just spilling out. Gosh. Probably going to be going with more of the orange brown, but we can see I don't have like an orange oxide or a single pigment orange that I'm aware of. Otherwise, I could have just added that in too. But this is probably the orangest that I have, I feel like. There we go. I don't use orange very much. I've got a lot of orangey browns because that's usually what I'm using orange in, is for a brown more so. We will just go ahead and test these out here. And do the orange brown first and see how this looks. They're gonna get a little bit skewed because of the paint underneath it. Oops. And here's the other one, lava orange. People do dye leather, so it's not like it would be completely out there. To have something that is more of this vibrant orange. The question is more of the color composition with the rest of the stuff. Gonna have to repaint the tail. It's very hard to get to that backpack. More cat hair. Already getting already coming up on time, though I know I did start a little bit late. I'm gonna try to at least come to a decision here on the orange before I end. Especially because I usually then actually do, I usually do actually stop painting, and then it's, if I paint again, it'll be several hours from now, and so I want to get that decision, get that written down, instead of having to rehash thoughts all over again. It's probably not time to completely repaint the oranges, but I can at least make a decision. This is a really nice purple and a really nice green. I do like them both. Nice kind of rich, like deep color in a way on both of them. They are definitely both kind of more on the transparent side, but oh well, that just means it'll be easy to do layering with them. So let's see here. That's my hand, my finger there. That definitely seems more like a leather color. You can definitely make this look kind of bit more like natural leather. I could even use that other color to highlight, so I can show you on the palette even and kind of see that's the orange I'm talking about. And then this was what I started with, that was very yellow. Like you can see how this will actually make a good highlight for that. And need to get some more of the green painted in on this side, it looks like. Yeah, I don't like the look of that as much. I think it's too much. So I think I will go with orange brown. Yeah, like I mentioned, I probably will end up using that original color just to do a highlight. Brown liner would probably be simple enough to get in like a nice dark shadow in some areas, just to create a little bit of contrast and pull up so that you can see there are some details on here. And the same with the pouch, you know, just being able to see like where the opening is, details here on the backpack, etc. So yeah, I'm going to see. I do have Just put it here for now. I want to start using some artist. I got some artist trading cards. Well, that's what they're called anyway. Orange brown is what I want. For the orange leather. But they're a little further away. And I do just need like a quick note with this. So that's why I always have a notepad and a pen nearby. But anyway, that'll be it for today. It's the ugly stages because we're just starting. Nothing's been highlighted or shadows or anything. Everyone goes through this, even like really good painters. If anyone tells you otherwise, then you either they're lying or I would like to see that. To be honest, I would be very curious to see that if they somehow did not have an ugly stage. But yeah, that's it for today. Let's see, Monday, because we finished up that last one. I think I mentioned this Monday actually, but I think I will start doing some terrain again for Monday's stream. This is one of the oak trees from Dungeons and Lasers. Got it all glued together, somewhat primed. I need to do another layer. This is what it looks like unprimed. It's like this reddish thing. The stump was originally comes separate, and I left it separate on my pine trees, but it was just kind of a bit of a pain because it's not super clear how the tree and the stump line up exactly when they're separated. You have to like fumble a little bit and then set them, which is kind of annoying to have to do. Like if you're actually running a game. So it was a cool idea to be able to have them come separated and just take, just have a stump represented for the tree. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it needs something else to make it easier to and quicker to use, just so that you can be like, this is exactly the way to set it down on the stump. Maybe even make it so that it's not so that it doesn't have to have a super specific fit, but I don't know how that would work. I don't design stuff. I don't design sculpts or 3D sculpts, so that is for them to figure out. But anyway, so that is it for today. I will see you on Monday. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye.